Stuff to talk about today. How you doing?
Yeah, what are you going to get me for Valentine's Day?
I don't know, man. You're off my list. I got too many other things going on. Uh, um, when is Valentine's Day?
Oh, is your wife in earshot, man?
I don't know.
It's on the 14th,
Oh,
dude.
okay, I got plenty of time. I'm not worried about that. Uh, uh, so, so a couple of things this week. So I tested out the Supercharger in. They opened a V4 Supercharger in Connecticut.
What's the V4
So
Supercharger?
if you haven't seen it, um, the new Tesla Superchargers, they basically have they're tall and they have the cable like draped along the outside. It has a really long cable. You haven't seen any in
Yeah,
California yet?
I charge at home,
You
man.
charge
I
everyone
don't.
charges at home, and we're going to talk about that. Um, but so the V4 basically has a longer cable, so other vehicles besides Teslas can charge at them.
Yeah.
And they most of them have the magic dock that you can release, so that if you have a Rivian or a Ford, you can you can pull the magic dock out and plug right in without using an adapter. Okay. So these things are pretty
Without
nice
using the adapter.
without using
Okay.
your own adapter, using the one that's built into the supercharger. So
Got
yeah,
it.
and they're faster. Some of them have up to 800 volts for the Cybertruck so far, and some other vehicles. Um, but anyhow, this is the first V4 that I've used, the first one in Connecticut that's open in Cromwell, and I want to do a charge test. So I preconditioned on the way there. Um, I went to pick my mother up, take her to dinner because there's a restaurant right there. So I preconditioned on the way over, and I charged from 20 to 80% in 30 minutes, just under 30 minutes. So so not too bad. It was a little cold. It was like in the 30s. So and if it was perfect
Yeah.
75-degree temperature, maybe go a little faster, and it would also go a little bit faster if you're in lower rate of charge. If you came in at like 5%, it's going to start charging at 250 kilowatts really soon, right?
Yeah.
When I plugged in at 20%, the maximum speed I saw was 215, and then it started tapering off pretty quick. But 250 is fast for a Tesla. Like it'll charge up really fast. Um,
Right.
so yeah, you can do that.
That cable's like 3 feet longer, right?
It is, yeah. Oh, you're looking at it.
No, I just knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
I'm
three
looking at
feet
it.
longer. So now you could just pull the Rivian up, plug in, pull in like a Porsche Taycan that has the charge port on the side. You don't have to like park sideways and take up multiple slots. You can just take up one stall. Um,
Right. You
so
mean other than like if you're not driving a Tesla to go charge, right?
exactly. But what do you think
Yeah.
about 30 minutes, 20 to 80? That would probably add in like um,
20 to 80,
close
30
to
minutes.
200 miles of range, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling you, I mean, here in California, I had to charge up. I could have been like around the low 20, maybe 22 to 25%, somewhere around, trying to remember, but it did not take long at all to
Yeah,
charge.
yeah, your battery is probably toasty. And yeah, you're probably looking at around 20 minutes. When I stop on road trips, like we take these thousand mile long road trips, 7,000
Yeah.
mile in the last one. We trying to stop for like around 20-25 minutes at the maximum, then take off and drive a few hours and hit the next one. Right? That's usually what people are
Right.
gonna do, which is totally fine. Like not a big deal. Um,
Yeah, and it's funny that people kind of look at it and go, well, you got to stop and you got to charge. And it's
yeah.
like, it doesn't take that long, if
Yeah,
it's like bathroom break kind of
yeah,
thing,
if you have
then it's
kids
not a big deal.
or multiple, a couple people in the car, for them to all use the bathroom and get back, it's going to take 20 minutes, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, we with the girls will stop and get something to eat and bathroom break, and by that point, it's like the app is telling me like, hey, you're at 80%, you better,
exactly.
you're done charging. So it's like
And if you stay,
it's just the right amount of time.
yeah, it's exactly the right now. Some of these I saw like out of spec was in China a couple weeks ago, and they tested some of those cars, and they're charging like crazy fast, like 400 kilowatts. They're charging from 0 to 80% in like under, I don't know, under like 15 minutes or something. So it was like really
Well,
fast. Um,
yeah, but do you think that that does anything to the battery
that's what I'm
charging
wondering.
that fast?
That's what I'd wonder. Like Tesla has like so many years of fleet data that they, they're very, I wouldn't say they're super conservative, but they probably limit the charge rate just because of their warranty, the durability, and all that, right? Like
Yeah.
now these Chinese companies, who knows? Like a lot of them are popping up. Like there's some new ones that just open. Like as you know, like some of these Chinese products, like you don't know when they say, oh yeah, it's here's the specs on it. It's not always true, right? Like
Yeah. I
so
mean, it's kind of like maxing out everything. All these cars that are they're limited. The horsepower is limited for a reason, right? And it's
right,
for reliability.
yeah.
But if you turn it up, it's less reliable, and
Yeah,
it break.
it should be less, but it's good that they're pushing the limits. So they're gonna force Tesla to
Yeah.
like increase the charge speeds and like push the envelope a little bit, which is fine, I think. But like Tesla in the U.S. market, like they don't want people to be seeing that like the batteries are failing. You know what I mean? Like that would just be bad for the whole thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I think they monitor all that fleet data, and they do what they're comfortable with, which is good, and it's really fine for most people because most people can be charging at home, right? Like, and so again this week I made a video. Electron sent me a level 2 charger to install, right? And what it
Who?
Electron EV, they
Electron EV.
yeah, they make a lot of EV charging equipment adapters. That they're one of the first that came out with the Tesla adapters, so other vehicles can use the superchargers.
Yep.
So yeah, I have a contact where they sent me their level 2 home charger up to 48 amps, right? And I have the ChargePoint Home Flex installed, same one you have. So I took that one down and I hardwired in this Electron, and I did like a little review on it. And it's a good charger for the price. Nice little charger, Wi-Fi connected. You can monitor your charge and see the all the specifics. Schedule the charge just like you can with ChargePoint. So it's a good charger. Now I put up a poll last week, like, what kind of EV charger do you have? What speed EV charger do you have at home? Direct wired 48 amp, plug-in 40 amp, dual 48 amp on a 60 amp circuit, or dual 48 amp sharing one 60 amp circuit. So what do you think most people had? You don't know.
I have no idea.
So yeah, direct wire 48 amp on a 60 amp circuit. The most people said they had that, and that's
Wait,
wrong.
what? Which one? Sorry.
So
Which one?
direct wire, not a plug. Okay, most people had a direct wired 48 amp charger.
Yep.
On a 60 amp circuit, because you can only run 80% of the maximum rating on that circuit breaker and wire continuous. So the 48 amp pretty much covers most vehicles. That's the fastest they can charge. The modern Teslas only charge at 48 amps. The Rivian charges at 48 amps. So that gives you the fastest charge speed for most vehicles. If you start going faster, like the Porsche Taycan, Ford F-150 Lightning can charge at faster, like at 80 amps maybe.
Damn.
But then it gets harder to install that circuit for a lot of people. And for me, I know you have a plug-in charger at home. You have you have the 50 amp 1450 plug with the charger plugged into it.
Right.
And that's flexible. Like if you need to replace it, you can just buy another one and plug it into the plug. But there's a couple of issues with. I know I've told you, like, check that plug, make sure it's not melting, because like it has to be like an EV rated plug that's designed for that continuous power, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, check it. Once in a while, unplug it. Look at the outlet. Make sure it's not melting or looks crispy or anything, because that can be a problem with the plug-in. So if you're installing the EV charger for the first time, I would, there's no wiring there already. I would direct wire it, and even if I had a plug there and I'm installing a charger, I'd probably, just block off that junction box and hardwire the charger, because then you're eliminating that point of failure in the plug.
Yeah.
And you can run up to 60 amps with the direct wire versus 50 amps only with the plug. So yeah, there's some advantages to direct wiring. I would definitely do it. If you already have a plug there and you just want it to be simple, you could just plug one in. You're probably gonna be fine. A little bit slower charging. But for
we had an electrician come in. We've had ours.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have an electrician do any of this problem.
3 years now, maybe 3 or 4 years now. So
yeah, you haven't had any problems with that. So it's fine for most people. Like I had to run new circuits out to the garage. There was nothing in there, and it was far. So I ran two 60 amp circuits and I upgraded my panel because I only had a 100 amp service. I couldn't even add one 60 amp circuit on that.
So wait, you had somebody come in, update your panel, and then you ran the cable to the...
I did it all, man. I just took all the wires. No, yeah, I had an electrician do it all because it was like a major thing because they had to replace the panel, put a 200 amp panel in. I had 200 amps from the street that they could just hook in. That was underground service. Replace the panel, and then he ran two number 6 wires out to the garage for the two 60 amp circuits. And he had to put conduit, and it was like a big deal.
No, thanks.
So yeah, but it's done now. And it's been working great. But I could have got by unless I could have put one 60 amp circuit and then use the Tesla wall connectors to power share, but he was already doing it. He's already pulling those wires out there, so it just made sense to pull a second set, right?
How much was that though?
Oh, it was like 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah, how much? Do you remember how much yours was?
Close to
4,000. Okay.
I think so. It was a while ago, so I'm not. It could have been less. It could have been
your
like
box?
2,000.
Was your circuit breaker panel in the garage?
No, it's in our house, but it's actually almost above it.
Okay,
so it's not that far.
It's not that far, but he had to pull probably a lot of wire to do it.
He definitely had to pull wire, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when you're running the money. Now, if you have the panel right in your garage, you have to go 5 feet over the charger. It's gonna probably cost $500 to do, right? So
yeah, it was. I think it was cheaper than what we imagined.
Yeah.
But then we had the rebate, so we're like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. There's federal and state rebates available. So I think I got like $500 back for the wiring, and then I think it's something like $200 to $300 a year for the charger from the utility company if you enroll in their peak demand response program. Which I've gotten some of that. So yeah, some of this stuff is rebatable, and then the federal EV charger rebate was actually something like $900, I think. It's like a complicated formula, but I think it was something like $900. So yeah, you do get a lot of this back.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of the bonus, and that's why we did it.
Yeah.
Immediately, we were like, okay, do we want to run around and charge it at different areas, or make it super convenient? So we made it super convenient, and it was definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, you've gotten your use out of that thing for sure. Imagine if you had to stop on your way to work twice a week and set the supercharger. It wouldn't be good.
So I was when I had the Volkswagen, I was charging it every day, almost every day.
Yeah.
But the range on the Volkswagen, the e-Golf was terrible. Yeah.
Yes.
Now when I moved to Tesla, it was like
night and day.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah.
But if you're buying an electric car, you should definitely have something at home to charge.
For sure. And it's hard. If you live in an apartment, I know those landlords aren't going to install those chargers unless the state makes them, right? I think they may in California start doing that.
I don't know if they're doing that, but I know, I think, because we work in MDU, right? Multifamily units, like apartments. So they are starting to do that as a like an attraction, right? Like
Yeah.
it's almost like providing like free Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
but they're providing charging.
Right.
Some of the companies that we've worked with before, that is part of their installation, right? Is to go
Yeah.
in and do the charging systems within like the parking garage or wherever
Yeah.
it's going to be. Even for our building at EnGenius, part of our lease agreement was for them to add in charging.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they're like property managers are definitely writing that stuff in and starting to offer that because it's like a must-have. So like
Right.
if you're running a property like an apartment building, you're gonna probably want to install X amount, depending
Yeah.
on the size of the apartment building.
Yeah. And I
It only
mean,
makes sense to do that.
and they're gonna need Wi-Fi in those areas and cameras too, like so that no one's cutting the cables or like parking there that shouldn't be, right?
Yeah, you know what? Ours actually got cut.
Really? At work?
Yeah.
At work?
Yeah.
Ah.
They were
So
cut.
so I think they're gonna
Um,
need to start adding cameras, although it's hard to catch people a lot of times, I guess, but it's a deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just get a video of somebody cutting your
Yeah,
cables,
like
and
with
then
the
like
hood-
they
with their
post
hoodie
anything
on.
in the video, right?
Yeah, but it's still a deterrent, I think. I don't think anyone wants to be on camera.
Yeah, it is a deterrent. For sure.
But yeah, so pretty interesting. But yeah, anyone should have a level 2 charger at home. That makes it way better than having a gas car if you have that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about Apple today. So you got the latest iOS 18.3 on your phone, right?
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah, and it
I got
adds-
it way before you did, so I'm just putting
in
that out there.
California. So it adds now. The Apple Intelligence has been like slow to come out, right? They've been releasing bits of it, and so far it's not that
It's not
intelligent.
so intelligent.
Not so intelligent. But it's funny. I was installing this in a bar yesterday, and the guy there, he's like big into Apple, and he's like, "Oh, you're installing it already?" He's like, "This."
Wait, were you installing that over Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I was just
Oh,
installing
okay.
it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, you're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I was like, oh, I saw an update. I'm like, I'm gonna install this now. And then, they had some flyer. So the piece of intelligence that this adds, if you have like an appointment on written down or on a business card or on a poster, you can just hold down the camera button on the iPhone 16, right? The new camera button. Hold it down, and it will grab that appointment and try to add it to the calendar for you, right?
Yep.
So pretty cool. I saw a poster for St. Patrick's Day. I scanned that in, and it like not only did it put the date in the calendar, it said like St. Patrick's Day celebration or whatever, right? So it takes all the event info. So that is a pretty good little update there.
Yeah, so you don't have to have it in a locked screen because I just tried. I'm trying it right now,
Okay.
and it asked me to create an event. But do you have to touch the button? You have to touch that button.
Yeah,
right?
you have to touch that glowing create an event, right?
So it's identifying. Okay, it did it. Identifying the event.
Yeah.
And then it goes Thursday, March 28th, but it said 2075.
Hey, it's got to be clear, AI. You got to double check.
Yeah, so I wrote a different date.
Yeah.
I wrote 24 and then I wrote 25 over it,
Okay.
like dark.
Yeah.
And it didn't it didn't pick that up. So you have to edit. But it did create it. March 28th, okay? That's my birthday. So, you can here we go. Yeah.
Everyone can send you a gift, a
Yes.
Starbucks gift card.
That'll work.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so back to the Wi-Fi stuff. So there's some promotions going on again for February, right? We had these really good promotions for January.
So we extended these promotions. So the big ones are on the ECW 536, which is a Wi-Fi 7 4x4x4 access point. So it's tri-band, 4x4 on every end radio. That's a with a 10 gigabit ports, right?
Yeah.
That's a buy two get one free. So that's pretty awesome. We get a lot of people that take advantage of that. Then there's we chose our most popular access point, which is the ECW 220. That's a 2x2 dual band access point. These are all cloud.
Mm-hmm.
That's a buy one get one. So that's pretty awesome. And then on our ESG 610, which is a VPN router, that is 50% off on that particular VPN router. So that's a pretty good one. We get a lot of people. We have 4 models now of the VPN router, and that one sits kind of in the middle. Yep. You have the 510, the 620. They're super popular. We just launched the 320, which is a gigabit versus like all these other 3 are like multi-gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And the 610 like sits right in the middle. So we have people that are choosing 510 or 620s.
Yep.
But the 610 has a little more processing speed
more power.
And so on. So
yeah,
it's desktop version. So that's a 50% off. So that's a pretty good one. And then there's some promotions on our phone system.
Durafone, yeah.
Which you don't sell a lot of, but the phone system is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's that's like how EnGenius started off with long range, right?
Yeah, we start like 900 megahertz, right? So we've been doing this since
before the Wi-Fi.
A long time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
So I wanted one last thing. So about the promotions, I added to the Keenan System website a little button. Brian recommended I added a button so that if you want to know what the promotions are, it's up at the top there, and I'll have a flyer. It'll link to the current promotions at all times.
Yeah, that's
a good
cool.
idea, right?
Yeah, excellent idea.
Yeah, because not everyone knows. But yeah, those are great promotions. Let us know if you want to take advantage of it. And we'll be back next week. Talk some more Wi-Fi.